Hi there, Libra. How are you? It's me, NSF from the Inner Stereo, and I'm back again doing your September 2018 readings. So as usual, this is going to be a relationship spread, and you can always apply with anywho. It could be with your friends, family, colleagues, best friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, fiance, anywho. I'm basically just going to pick up your relationship energy in general, okay? Check your sun, moon, or Venus sign for whichever videos that resonates the most to you. And kind of like stick to it though, because I don't know. Like for me, I like to stick to one video instead of the whole video. But if you do want to watch your sun, moon, and Venus arising, then thanks for the views. Kidding. But anyway, let's talk about your energy for the now. You have the Ace of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Wands, and you also have the Justice card, which is your energy in the now. Before, when I was like pre-shuffling, when I was meditating before I do your reading, Ten of Cups was popping off out of nowhere. So meaning that in September 2018, you can expect like a lot of collective happiness when it comes to your love life and relationship in general. I think with the Ace of Pentacles here, there's like a newfound value that you kind of like finally understand. You could be like having like a new crush, or you see someone in a new perspective, but you feel like there's this one new beginnings that could lead to something that is potentially stable in the future, if that makes sense. And you're kind of like quite fired up about it, with the Knight of Wands energy. I love this. The Knight of Wands talks about a very, very heroic actions when you felt like you want to accelerate things. The Page of Wands is a period where you want to say hi to every new adventure. When it comes to the Knight of Wands, you see something that interests you and you want to come after it. Okay, but then at the same time, you also have the Justice card, which I love. Why? Because rather than going all fire, and I should take notes this for myself as well, because me as a Sagittarius, I would just go all fired up about something, and then I forgot to scale things up to keep things in balance. I feel like right now, although you do have like something that you're very, very passionate about, but you're still having that Justice card, that really, really core personality of a Libra, where you kind of like want to scale things down, and if you feel like you're the only person who is like doing the attempt and the efforts, you would kind of like pull back a little bit and then see if the other person will kind of like return your effort at the same time. What's challenging you have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Oh, okay. I usually pull like two cards, but then you have the other two that's kind of like popping out. There's someone here who still have a difficulties. It could be from you or it could be with someone else, who still does have difficulties in letting go of unwavering devotions and loyalty that you have towards someone else. It could be your partner or it could be you. You have problems when it comes to moving to calmer water or moving on from someone that you've been dealing with in the past, or it could be them. They're still finding it hard for them to kind of like let go of their past, that unwavering devotions and loyalty. If you're dealing with the nurse sign, it's most likely that it was them who is kind of like is a little bit difficult to let go of that unwavering devotion and loyalty. And the reason for that being is because they are so used to it, because it's kind of like is a habit. It's a comfort zone for them. So it's hard for them to let go. And then the third challenge, you have the Queen of Pentacles in here. So be very careful about people with materialistic tendencies. Like because this is like a relationship, so it's a very, very general one. I feel like in your life, there is someone here who is up to no good, meaning that they're only with you because of monetary gain, if that makes sense. So they're only with you because of they want your money or they want your connection. I mean, Libra are well connected, or they just want like an inspiration from you, or because you are very, very knowledgeable about something that they kind of like struggling about in the now, and they need you for that. So be careful about that, okay? And also be careful about someone or people who seem too good to be true. Okay, there are someone in your life who kind of like projects themselves as someone who is very stable, someone who has their shit all together, someone who is very, very like, prissy, bougie, and and like loyal companion and everything like that, but they're not actually what they seem to be. If you're dealing with that person, this person still does have a hard time letting go of the past. So in the past, you were dealing with the Ten of Wands in reverse. The Ten of Wands in reverse is when someone, and this is from their side, when they feel like, here's the thing. Ten of Wands always have a direction in which they want to go to, right? And if it were in upright position, they're willing to, although it kind of like bruised their ego, to do everything, and they're aware that it's going to be a bumpy road ahead, but they still feel like this destination that they have in their eyes, in their sight, is still interesting. With the Ten of Wands in reverse, it means that this person no longer feels like the destination that they're going to with you is interesting anymore. So they're kind of like letting go because they feel like it's been burning their ego for quite some time. I feel like you could also potentially be dealing with two people here. So there's like one person who is kind of like completely letting you go, and then there's like another one who is kind of like who were very, very defensive in the past, and they felt like, you know what, I don't think I want to be this defensive anymore. They kind of like they realized that what they did in the past was really, really silly. So they were in a process of dropping down their weapons and talk things through with you. How were you in the past? You guys were the High Priestess, so you guys were listening so much so on your intuition. You're trying to detach yourself from the situation to see things in a black and white position, whether it is tolerable for me to accept this person or whether it's intolerable for me to accept this person, right? And with the person here who is kind of like letting you go because they feel like you are very much of a burden to them, you guys have the Four of Swords. So you guys like, okay, fine, you want me, let me go, it's your loss, dude. You know, that's your attitude about the whole thing. I feel like if you were dealing with two people in the past, you guys, because you are kind of like letting go of this person in the past, you know, the one that does not want to care anymore for you, you became emotionally attached toward the Nine of Wands in reverse person, towards the person who is basically lowering down all of their weapons together. Okay, but if you're dealing with one person, you guys were in a little bit of a conflict because in your head, again, the scaling thing, in your head, you're like, you know what, I'm over it because it's not worthy. They don't want to fight for me, it's your loss. But also at the same time, you still feel very, very much emotionally attached to them. Okay, so in the now, this person is kind of like feeling a little bit indecisive and wishy-washy about you. I mean, like, there are a lot of people who says that Libra is indecisive, Libra is wishy-washy and everything like that. But look who is wishy-washy now. Look who is indecisive now. They could be dealing with, they could be juggling multiple people at the same time too, though. But they still do feel the strong connection with you. So they still feel being pulled by you, although they do have like multiple options in their bag. They still feel very, very pulled by you, and they cannot lie or hide the fact that they're kind of like hurting from the inside. Because, you know, I feel like what they did in the past when they kind of like wanted to let you go, they wanted you to pursue, but you didn't. You didn't kind of like pursue them. You're like, you know, shit, over it. And then now they're kind of like hurting and they're like wishy-washy. Should I approach Libra or should I not approach Libra? Whose turn is it now? Okay, and this type of emotional manipulation, this type of mental manipulation is kind of like driving your minds nuts because you guys have the Nine of Swords. And this situation is like the worst nightmare of an air sign. Why? Because it's a mental thing, something that gets you overthinking, something that gives you like a midnight anxieties in the middle of the night, something that you cannot really like put your focus on and say like, I think this is the reason why. You cannot really put that answer inside of your head. You have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse in here, so you kind of like felt like there is no more future. You see them as, you know what, whatever you do, I feel like every fantasies that I've created inside of my head, every plan is kind of like shattered and gone. What you did in the past was really, really hurtful for me. I don't think that I could see you in the good light as I did before. So that's what you have in your mind. You have the Magician card in reverse, so you're kind of like, yeah, I don't think I could do this though. You know, I don't think like I could light a match and make myself be as interested as I was in the past to you. Okay, with whoever it is, if you're dealing with two people though, I feel like the person B who you were being emotionally attached with in the past because you were letting go of someone else, this person is hurting in the now because this person couldn't really pinpoint where they stand in your life, if that makes sense. I don't think like you have given them much clarity and confirmation about how, meaningful they are to you, how much they mean to you and everything like that. So they're kind of like hurting on the inside and then now. And they kind of like perceives you as the magician in reverse, meaning that they kind of like perceives you as someone who is a little bit too good to be true. They cannot really pinpoint which one is which is the truth, which one is what, if that makes sense. Okay? I feel like in the month of September, you guys are going to be focusing so much so on your money with that Ace of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles in here. The person who kind of like let you go and who you said you don't want to think much about it because your ego has been bruised too. This person has multiple options. Even if they were to come back into your life, they're going to give you like a lots of ultimatum and a lots of terms and condition, which is something that I feel like it's not really fair, but up to you. Aicha, you have the Two of Swords. You're wishy-washy about them anyway. Because now, yeah. Because now, at the bottom of your deck, you have the Moon card in reverse, and you also have the Karma card. So, where was I? Okay, so they do have like kind of like multiple options, and if they were to come back, they're gonna give you like a lot of ultimatums and terms and conditions. But I feel like in September, if you've been hurting in the past and even in the now with this Nine of Swords, you guys are gonna find guys are going to come up with a final conclusion in the future. Although you still have that wishy-washiness sense in you, but you're kind of like closing off your heart chakra. You're no longer willing to listen to what your heart is telling you. I mean, your heart is still calling for them, but I feel like your brain is completely stopping you guys from doing that. So, okay. Your mind is completely that no, it's enough, Libra, it's enough, Libra. Why? Because you guys, I feel like in the September 2018, you guys are going to come up and totally realizing what type of person that you want to settle with. You want to make yourself ready for your soulmate. You want to make yourself ready to finally meet your mate with this King of Pentacles in here. And you kind of like finally realizing that you guys need to be a masculine energy in order to attract something. Right? So you're going to be focusing much more on your money. The person B, I think like they're kind of like hurting and they already do have like a fixed assumption and perception about you. They have the Page of Swords. So they do have like a lot of trust issues in you in the future. They do a lot of background research and also stalkings too. And you guys have the King of Wands in reverse in here though. So I feel like with them being this skeptical, it just kind of like aroused that anger deep within you. I mean, when a Libra is angry, it's scary. I mean, you guys are the most well-behaved, well-mannered people out there, but when you guys are angry, you guys are scary. So I feel like if you're a cross-watcher and you happen to be person B, and if you want to attack them by being the Page of Swords, it's not going to be pretty, for real though. Okay, so yeah, and then after that, you're going to have like the Moon card in reverse. I feel like, you found your truth way before this past happened. Way before this past happened, I feel like you guys find your truth. And then even in the future, mental clarity and emotional clarity is going to come in your way one by one by one. And the truth is going to be exposed. You will be in a much better place, brighter place. Sometimes if you stop thinking about it, things just happens, like clues here, clues there. If you focus so much on your cerebral, if you're focused so much on thinking about it, you kind of like miss the red flags, if that makes sense. But if you stop thinking about it and just let it flow, just live your life, clarity will come one by one by one. By the end of September 2018, you're going to have like a lot of clarity by what was actually happening. I feel like the truth is starting to come out, reveal one by one by one. Things that you felt like you guys are being in the dark about in the past and even in the now, it just comes to light. Okay, and it's going to make you, push you to make the final decision, which is the Karma card. The Karma card in the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot is the Judgment card. So it's a card of whether you want to give this person a second chance or whether you just want to move on completely. And I feel like, yeah, it's just going to make you like a lot of conflicts. You guys have the Five of Wands there. So don't kind of like curse the situation that has been happening, in the recent past and present, because it is actually 5. 5 is like a universe or God's way into showing you how much you are loved, if that makes sense. 4 is stable, 4 is square, 4 is something stable. But sometimes we build something stable on something that is unstable foundation, something that was built on lies, something that will build on manipulation, something that was built on agenda, if that makes sense. And it kind of like is a universe or God ways into kind of like shattering those so that you can create a much more stable, celebratory, victorious feeling that you achieve something, if that makes sense. So don't kind of like curse it, because everything will come to light in September 2018. Don't worry much about it, especially since we're now in the last degree of Jupiter in Scorpio. And I've been noticing, since the past year, that karmas are paid in instant, are paid in cash. Like you did something today, you're going to reap the result like a week after. So don't worry, everything will come to a light by the end of September, and you guys are going to be in a much better place, especially financially, by the end of September 2018. Okay? So I really hope that you guys enjoyed my reading. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.